Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. And that must mean that I am Professor Robert E.G. Black, and this is the Groundhog Day Project.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
It's a thing where the same day keeps happening.
Time.
I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd.
The last revision is what counts, apparently.
We are on minute 68 of Groundhog Day, getting into the thick of what I call God Day. It's the moment where Phil is proving to Rita he's in a time loop. We won't see where that goes for another few minutes. First, let's have him show off at the Tip Top Cafe. We ended last minute with Rita saying it's not possible. Doris now says, I'll come back. But Phil stops her from leaving. Doris. She doesn't leave. He gets up and Rita looks really confused. And he grabs Doris and says, this is Doris. Her brother-in-law Carl owns this diner. She's worked here since she was 17. More than anything else in her life, she wants to see Paris before she dies. And Doris is taken aback by this, like in a good way. She kind of leans back, oh boy would I, because she's thinking about Paris. And then Rita's like, what are you doing? He gets Rita up and takes her to the table off to the right. We haven't seen yet Debbie and Fred, but now we're getting them. This is Debbie Kleiser and her fiancé Fred. Debbie's like, do I know you? And he says, they're supposed to be getting married this afternoon, but Debbie is having second thoughts. Couple notes. First of all, in the background, you can see the line of people waiting to get tables, including dancer guy who I totally should get on as a guest because he is listed. He listed himself on IMDb in the credits of this movie. And so I do know his name. It's on the thing. I don't know his name. I can't remember it offhand, but I would love to talk to him and just talk about the fact I got so annoyed by him in this movie. It's a weird conversation to have though. But when I was doing the blog, I found a doctoral dissertation by this woman, Julie Ellen Benesh. And at first I just kind of had a couple comments about it. And then I read her whole thing and I had problems with some of the stuff she's saying. Different interpretations. But she had only watched the movie a handful of times for a specific kind of imagery. Her thing was very specific. But I then kind of picked on her and her dissertation for many entries of the blog. And I guess I messaged her on LinkedIn at some point. And she didn't care that I said negative things. She was just excited that I read her dissertation. And having written a master's thesis the next year, I understand that impulse that you're just excited that someone read your thing. Because no one reads dissertations or master's theses. So it's just cool to be read. It would just be cool to notice this guy and point, I'd be interested to see what was it like being on the set. What was it like being, he's in the diner set and he's in the banquet set. Was he a Gobblers Knob? I don't think so. Maybe he was. And what was his experience like? I could find people from this movie. In this minute, we finally see the family at the table in the corner. And the kid, I believe it's the one with his back to us, wearing the plaid, and he has his Punxsy Rocks coat is on the back of his chair. He's not wearing it. He actually reached out to me on Twitter a handful of years ago. Oh, many minutes ago, I was trying to remember the two boys' names in the movie. The boy who falls out of the tree and this one. Because they are both in the scene where they are bothering Phil while he's counting cracks in the sidewalk. Which is not one of the deleted scenes on the DVD, but I do have a still shot of them filming it. The three kids were Sue, that's the piano student, and then Joey and Mike, because the scene in the script has it Joey and Mike. At some point I decided kid falling from tree was Joey and this kid was Mike, but I don't know when I decided that or why. But I do remember now that I did decide it, because I have a note on my phone of his Twitter account and that he plays Mike, so that I could maybe contact him sometime to have him on here. That would be another one who could just talk about the experience of being there. Like he's not in scenes, he doesn't have lines in the movie. He would have had lines in the sidewalk scene, I guess. The other note here is that Phil says second thoughts really weirdly. Or Bill does, I guess. Bill Murray or Phil Connors. One or the other says it strangely because he doesn't, it's not, but Debbie's having second thoughts. He should be stressing thoughts, right? Or second thoughts should be going together like it's one thing. But he says, she is having second thoughts.
They're supposed to be getting married this afternoon, but Debbie is having second thoughts.
What?
Like there's something, he's stressing the wrong word and it feels weird. But also I think it's a sign that he doesn't care, which means it might be a Phil Connors choice and not necessarily a Bill Murray problem. Murray is playing it as if Phil is saying these things without really caring about what he's saying. He's just showing off. For now. Fred reacts, "What?" Rita tries to calm things down by saying, "Lovely ring," to Debbie, which is so nice. And Debbie says thanks.
Lovely ring.
This is Bill.
It's so cute. The scene is like, do I know you? I didn't know at the time when I was doing the blog that Hynden Walsh, who plays Debbie, is Princess Bubblegum in Adventure Time. I hadn't watched any Adventure Time then. I guess it would have been on, right? Yeah. I probably even saw that on her IMDb if it was then, but I had never watched the show, didn't know anything about it. She's great. She's a great voice actor. Her voice is in other things that I've seen since. Now that I know she does voice acting, I notice her name. But as Debbie, she's cute. She's still young and excited. And even here where Phil just said the worst thing that could be heard right now. Like, Fred doesn't need to know this. But she still says thanks when Rita compliments her ring. Phil goes away from that table. More proof that he doesn't care about the people he's saying things about. Because he knows that there is upset happening at that table. But he walks away. If you look in the background as the scene continues, Fred is freaking out. He is having a big emotional reaction. Does Phil do anything about it? No. Phil is too busy getting Rita over to the waiter. This is Bill. He's been a waiter for 3 years since he left Penn State and had to get work. He likes the town. He paints toy soldiers, and he's gay. I should point out the script. In earlier version of the script, or it might even still be in the shooting version, but they changed it on the day. When he says he's gay, Bill was going to react, Bill the waiter, not Bill Murray. Bill the waiter was going to react, "I am not." And at some point they realized that doesn't work because the whole point in this scene is that Phil is correct. Everything he says is true. And so Bill the waiter is not closeted. He's just like, yeah, I am. Phil is listing things though, like, again, he doesn't care. He has memorized, just like he memorized Nancy, Lincoln, Walsh. And now it'd be Bill, waiter, Penn State. Like, he's got a little more detail with the 3 years and had to get work. Likes the town. He probably found out he liked the town because Bill kept talking about the town, and probably Phil got annoyed that Bill was talking about the town. He paints toy soldiers. Did he brag about that? Or did Phil ask, like, try to get him off the topic of talking about the town? He's like, what are your hobbies? It's like, I paint toy soldiers. And how it came up that he was gay, I don't know. Maybe this is the guy that Phil got with in the musical. Because the musical, he does say that he's been with all the women in Punxsutawney from 18 to 84 and one dude when I was bored. He talks about how he's had sex with all the women in town and one guy. Maybe it was Bill. Maybe that's how he found out he was gay. So Bill says, I am. Phil goes over to Gus. This is the point where the angle we should see on the left of Rita and Phil. We can start to see that Fred is freaking out and he's sad. And Debbie is maybe trying to calm him down. And we can see the table in the corner with the family and the kid I was just talking about with the Punxsy Rocks coat on the back of his chair. And his brother, I assume he's supposed to be his brother, maybe even real life brother, is wearing a red coat. But that is not the kid that falls out of the tree. So this is not Mike and Joey over here. It's just one of them. And I say, Mike. I made that decision because I am allowed. So Phil points out Gus. This is Gus. Does he pull Gus into standing up? Or does Gus stand up? Because at this point you might also notice people are listening. The father at the family in the corner is listening. The people at the table just to the left are listening. The woman in the blue coat, who I've mentioned many times because she was outside Cherry Street, she's over by the register. She is turned and listening. Phil is talking loud enough for everyone to hear. This isn't film cheating where Phil is taking the center of the stage, but everyone else is just going about their business. No, he's talking loud enough for everyone to hear this, and they're intrigued too. He says, this is Gus. He hates his life here. He wishes he stayed in the Navy. And Gus takes over and says, well, I could have retired on half pay after 20 years. Yeah, he probably found that out that one night with Gus and probably never talked to Gus again. You could imagine that Phil spends a lot of nights with Ralph and Gus just because it's nice to have someone to just ramble about shit while drinking. But also, he might never have spent any time with Gus ever again after that one night. Or maybe Gus is the guy he's been with. Who knows? Rita says, excuse me, is this some kind of trick? And Phil says the important line here, logically why he considers that he might be a god. He says, well, maybe the real God uses tricks. Maybe he's not omnipotent. He's just been around so long he knows everything. See, that's an interesting point. He's also making a weird distinction because he says maybe he's not omnipotent, but omnipotent means all-powerful. All-knowledgeable is, what, omnipresent? I want to say omnipresent. We don't usually use that word, though. We use omnipotent a lot. But for knowing everything, it's different. He's making the distinction. He's not all-powerful. He's just been around so long he knows everything. How long has Phil been around? Doesn't matter. I'm not trying to trigger you again. Time loop, day count, truthers. It doesn't matter how long it's been in here, just that he's been in here long enough that he's starting to think these things. That's what matters. Rita tests it. Oh, okay. Who's that? She points at the guy at the table. This is Tom. Worked in the coal mine till they closed it down. And her? She points at a waitress. That's Alice. She came over from Ireland as a baby. She lived in Erie most of her life. Alice says, he's right. Then the minute ends. God Day will continue. It's going to be one more test, and then they're going to end up sitting down at a different table. So there are 2 empty tables right now while they're walking around. They should be getting some people to that one where they just got up, but probably they won't rush to it because they think Rita and Phil are going to go sit back down. But there is another empty table. So I'm not sure why the line is so long. I mean, I guess the tip top would be busy. It is right on the square. A lot of people just saw the prognostication and need some food. Or some coffee, at least. That line could also be people that just want something to go. They're going into work because it's not a federal holiday. And they just want some coffee and one of those sticky buns, you know. Place has some good pastries. That's minute 68. Come back next time. We'll talk more about God Day in minute 69. In the meantime, I don't know, go learn stuff about the people around you. Ooh, I don't know if I should give that advice because I'm not going to do it. I mean, I know stuff about like my students because I ask them questions. Day 1 of class, I always ask them what their favorite movie is so I can start sort of judging who they are. Whether it's in a good way or a bad way, but generally it's just a good way because it's just a way to start to know them. And then I ask them about their favorite TV, music they listen to. Like different days I ask different questions. But also in Speech 101, which is what I have 2 sections of this summer, their first speech is about them. And so it's kind of getting them to think about who they are. So I'll give you that instead. Go think about who you are and give me a report on Canvas. It's due next week. If you are so inclined, go ask, maybe not a stranger, but maybe a coworker you don't really talk to much. Ask them something. Ask them about that thing they have sitting on their desk. Ask them about that sticker they have on their laptop. Ask people about themselves. Create connection. I'm uncomfortable with the idea of doing this myself because I'm me, ADHD, mostly introverted. I don't want to go talk to random people, and I'm afraid if I ask someone a question, then I'm stuck in a long conversation with them. Look at what I'm doing right now. My morning class ends, and I'm recording multiple episodes of this show in a row. I'm talking to myself because I don't want to go outside and risk talking to other people. It's still a good idea to talk to other people occasionally and to make friends, or at least acquaintances you know about. Get to know your neighbors. We finally got to know a few of our neighbors when stuff at our building was going badly, and then those neighbors moved away. So now I don't really know anyone in our building, and I'm kind of okay with that, because they'll come and go. If we get the chance, we'll go. But yeah, making actual connections with people, asking them about themselves, this is how we create civilization, and a lot of us don't create civilization anymore. We might find our little niche group that we interact with, like when I was friends with the people I played Dungeons & Dragons with, and we'd hang out and have game nights and go to Ren Fair and go to escape rooms and go out to eat. Once that game was over and we stopped hanging out so much, I haven't seen any of them in a while. I'm friends with or a follower of all of them online still. If any of them are listening, hello, Eli, Jared, Aiden, or was that his character's name? Oh my god. RPGs are weird. You get to a point where you can't remember if name is someone's character or their person. Aiden's not his real name. Aiden was his character. What's his real name? I went to the house he was living in. We played Ted Candles. I feel so bad. Who else was in that game? Ian. Ian is not, as far as I know, online. I don't think we're friends on anything. But I'm friends with Eli and Jared and Christy on Facebook. I follow Christy and Cherie on Instagram. I am friends with Aiden. I'm stuck on that name. I can't figure out if that's his name or his character's name. But I was friends with him on Facebook. I might still be. I wouldn't know how to look it up unless his name is Aiden. There, you know a lot about me. I can't even remember my friends' names, apparently.
Interrupting because, really quick, I figured out I can find mutual friends through Facebook, and his name is Travis. I am so sorry, Travis.
But that was also my thing, is there was a point while playing Dungeons & Dragons where I didn't think of them as my friends. Like, they were just the people I played Dungeons & Dragons with. But then, in retrospect, we also did so many other things, and we did have conversations about, life and stuff related. Like, we went places, we did things. If that's not friends, I'm not sure what is. I mean, there's more to what I like out of a friend, I guess. But that's a lot. And still, because it was role-playing for years, you get to a point where you forget, wait, is that the person's real name or their character name? Especially now, playing on Zoom. That's easier because it's only 4 players, but my in-person game had a roster that fluctuated depending on the week. Now it's like on their Zoom screen, because we play on Zoom, my current game. It might have their real name, or it might have their character name. And so I have to remember which is which. And also, because of the circumstance of the way my game is set up, their character name has changed many times. Which is funny, because one of my players, his account, he has the original name / the next name / the next name / the next name. So his character name just gets really long on the screen, which is funny. But it also makes it so it's like, wait, what's your real name? What's the fake name? His is easier because I've known him longer. We played in person before. Depending on the circumstance, maybe you meet someone and you get along with them, but you didn't happen to catch the name the first time. Or you're playing role-playing games, so you don't know their name offhand. If you are playing Dungeons & Dragons or some other games with people and you can't remember their name, just ask. They'll understand. This is the thing for all of us. Anyway, how did I get here from God Day, man? Phil would remember who he played Dungeons & Dragons with. Who were my other players? Ones that came in and out. Oof. I know Tony played a couple times with us. He had previously run a game I was playing in. One of the guys who played briefly with us, I'm still friends with on Facebook, but I can't think of his name. I do remember a guy I didn't play Dungeons & Dragons with, but played a bunch of other board games with, named Robert. We're friends on Facebook, and I follow him on Instagram. But we haven't actually talked in a few years, because I think he stopped having game nights. Like, he got busy and then stopped having them. Or he stopped inviting me. Oh man, that's depressing. Go have a game night, go have fun, go spend time with the people who like you, the people who you like. Know their names, know their hobbies, know what they want out of life. Ask them questions, let them ask you questions. Have a conversation with someone today. That's your assignment. Will I do that? No. Nope, I won't. Well, actually, no, I'll probably have a conversation with my daughter, because after my work, I have to drive her to her work, and probably have at least a brief conversation here and there with my wife, but we talk off and on throughout the whole day, so when we sit down to have an actual conversation, it might be weirder nowadays. We've known each other for 25 years. Anyway, have a good day. Come back tomorrow. We'll get some more on Phil and God Day.
You knew you were going to say that.
This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. Also, you can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops.
What is wrong in the end which never comes? Or which comes again and again, lapping, like waves.
Since the Big Bang set everything in motion, everything that happens in this universe has to be the way it is. Particles unfolding the way they're destined to.
How do you sleep at night? You've never seen Groundhog Day?
Yeah, you know Groundhog Day is not a documentary.
Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie?